Alright, YouTube, the video down below is from Michigan Live. It's one of these legacy media outlets that has their own YouTube channel, a bunch of bot followers, so it's got like 100,000 plus subscribers, but like in terms of engagement, not very high compared to other YouTubers with that amount of subscribers, such as Sticks. That's just a good example right there. Anyways, Bernie Sanders was speaking in front of a crowd of union workers. I believe their outfit number is UA173. So it's like a mixed bag of workers. I think there's some steel workers, some God knows what, God knows who. But still, Bernie Sanders comes in, and this YouTube page. They're documenting this. The response was pretty negative. They're like, "Who the hell let this guy into our state?" And yeah, that's a good question. I don't think that trying to articulate this the best way I can, but Hillary basically pretended that Michigan did not exist during the 2016 election. It's kind of like Bernie Sanders coming around. I don't know if he's trying to make good on her part, or if he's just trying to make good on the DNC's part, because obviously that was a big flaw in their strategy that time around. So I think a lot of people are like thinking, well, it's too little too late. Even some of the Union Democrats, they're showing favor towards Trump in a lot of polls I've seen. So, and that goes beyond just the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. This goes pretty much right directly to his leadership, and people do want to have a white male as president who is not constantly browbeating the white working class into thinking that they're less, that they essentially are worth less than those around them. And when I say those around them, I'm talking about the minorities, which are slowly becoming the majority, which is very unfortunate. Bernie Sanders comes out talking about how he's talking about a lot of things. We need to make sure that these employers are not doing illegal things to their workers, because it's a really bad thing. We need more government oversight. And then he starts to talk about, I think that free public education does not go far enough. I think we ought to do it. We ought to just something along the lines of like, that's just not good enough. It's not good enough, guys. It's not good enough, boys. And it's just like, the guy is such a fucking nut job. I hate to say it, I hate to be so subjective about it, but it's like the guy is a total nut job, and he's a total loser. This guy has never had a job, really. He's never really had a job. He was involved in education. He was, was he a professor or something? He's just never had a job that would qualify him to represent those in the unions, if you know what I mean. So he's never been a physical laborer by any means. It's almost a sin to that type of people, or those type of people. But still, I'm just saying, his act is beginning to wear thin, and even with the Jimmy Dore crowd, you're looking at all these revelations about Bernie Sanders and his wealth, and I don't have a problem with his wealth. I don't give a shit that Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. I really don't give a shit. It's just really hypocritical when a millionaire is going around saying that we ought to have less money in our pockets. It's like, whoa, dude! Like, where do you come off from? Where do you come from when you're saying that? It's just a really bad joke. Oh, that guy. Let's give him a hand to Bernie. Not a handout, but let's give a hand to Bernie. He's been nonstop comedic material for a long time now. I didn't even realize this. Like, the guy's like a total nut job. Like, he's in interviews and he's like pretending to box with the fucking interviewer with NBC News. It's like, that's a weirdo. And then there's just countless other things. But yeah, you guys kind of get the drift. Yeah. In closing, I'm never going to vote for Bernie. I'm never gonna vote for Bernie Sanders. Whichever office he tries to run for, I'm never going to vote for him. I don't care if he volunteers to clean out the porta potties here in Santa Cruz. I just don't think he'd be very qualified to do that, because like I said, he's never really engaged in physical labor. Yet he's constantly trying to be a champion of the working class. And another thing too, it's like you look at all these proposals that the socialists have. It's like, it always comes back to the question, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to how are you going to pay for all this? Basically, that's all you really need to ask. And then they start, well, we're going to tax the upper echelon of wealth in this country. Yeah, that's the way to go. Well, these people are going to move out of the country, and they're going to take their money elsewhere. I mean, why do you think Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is bringing back so many people? It's because they look at the United States now as somewhat of a tax safe haven. So that's good. You want more business in this country. You don't want less business. When you have less business, then the public sector steps forth and they try to nationalize everything, all the industry, and then that's when you get communism, essentially, and that's what Bernie Sanders is advocating for. And it's really funny too. Like a lot of the Bernie Sanders supporters are like are counter signaling against communism while simultaneously like they're like posting all these Jimmy Dore memes, like he's our guy, you know, with the hammer and sickle and everything, which is very amusing. Don't get me wrong. But I just think that these people aren't very honest, you know. And I think they'd say the same thing about Trump supporters. It's like they talk about how Trump supporters are constantly counter-signaling against scary white nationalists. And at the same time, they're posting like Nazi memes, you know, like Pepe the Frog memes and shit like that. Ah, man. Clown world. Honk honk. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. And yeah, I'll see you later.